Europeans have always been liars. This isn't about lying in the ordinary sense. This is about fabricating entire realities, legal, theological, cartographic, then killing anyone who didn't believe them. Europeans called the world undiscovered, while standing on thriving civilizations. The Apache didn't need maps to know their land. They knew where the water rose in spring, where the antelope migrated, and where a single footprint meant a traveler passed 4 hours earlier. Meanwhile, Europeans drew maps where entire continents were labeled as terra nullius, nobody's land, to justify stealing things they could never understand. To this day, land acknowledgments are needed because the truth was so systemically buried. Between 1600 and 1900, the U.S. signed over 500 treaties with indigenous nations, every single one broken, ignored, or reinterpreted. The Apache relied on honor-based diplomacy. Truth was action, not paper. If a promise was made, it was backed by kinship obligation, not loophole-ridden documents. Europeans, on the other hand, wrote treaties in foreign languages, imposed deadlines impossible to meet, and used delay as a tactic of dispossession. A document in Latin isn't truth. It's just a spell of empire. The Catholic Church claimed it held the truth of God, then used that to justify genocide, rape, and forced conversion. The doctrine of discovery, papal bulls of 1452 and 1493, told Europeans they could take any land not ruled by Christians. Meanwhile, Apache cosmology didn't separate truth from ecology. To lie about the land was to break harmony with it, a crime not just against humans, but against the earth itself. Europeans burned libraries, retranslated Bibles to suit monarchs, erased oral traditions because they couldn't control a truth that wasn't written down. The so-called European Age of Enlightenment was founded on stealing, distorting, and rebranding global knowledge. They denied the circulation of blood until Harvey said it, though it was already known in Yoruba, Chinese, and Ayurvedic medicine. They claimed to invent inoculation, while Ottoman women, West African healers, and Quechua shamans had practiced it for centuries. The Apache knew the uses of over 500 plants in their region, while Europeans were still bleeding people to balance humors. Truth for Europeans was never about accuracy. It was about authority. When the U.S. government began counting Apache people, they counted full-bloodedness by phenotype, then altered that to strip land claims. The census became a lie told with numbers, not to describe a people, but to erase them bureaucratically. In Apache oral memory, you are who you walk with, not what fraction a settler writes on a form. Europeans, by contrast, invented truth that only existed on paper, and killed to enforce it. The British called their empire free, while running the largest human trafficking operation in history. The French said liberté, while massacring Algerians, burning villages, and beheading resistance fighters. The Americans spoke of freedom, while starving the Apache, exiling Geronimo, and kidnapping children for boarding schools. The lie was never just spoken, it was weaponized, wrapped in law, dressed in velvet, then dropped like a guillotine. The Apache didn't need lawyers to tell the truth. They lived it. Europeans needed courts, wigs, chains, and ink, because their truth was never real. It was always written, reworded, and revised to maintain control. So when people ask why we don't trust the system, it's because the system was built by people who'd never told the truth a day in their history. Cope.